people today. They could spend half their lives over 50. That's a lot of living. So it helps to have a wise friend and fierce defender in your corner. A friend like AARP. So your health lives longer.
This is just slow-mo karate?
Just slow-mo karate.
Your money lives longer.
I just bought that.
I just sold that.
And your happiness lives longer. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP. Join today.
Welcome to AARP Illinois' virtual event. It's so wonderful to have you with us. AARP is on a mission to connect with individuals across various communities, especially those aged 50 and above. We're here to listen, understand, and address the unique needs of you and your community as we age. Our goal is to enrich your experience by expanding our local activities, providing opportunities for you to discover and engage with all that life has to offer right here in your own community and virtually. As we journey through today's event, we invite you to consider joining our dedicated team of AARP volunteers. It's a chance to make a meaningful impact and help us better serve those 50 plus across the nation. Connect with us and be a part of this vibrant movement toward positive change. Welcome, and let's make this event both fun and transformative.
Hello and welcome to the cookery. My name is Alyssa, and today hopefully I will take you guys to a spot of relaxation. We will be visiting the islands and making some chimichurri sliders along with some fried plantains. So first off, I'm going to start. I have my pound of hamburger here, and I'm going to cut up a red pepper. You can choose a pepper of your choice, and we'll have an onion. We'll add that along with some seasonings. And I'm going to show you guys a pretty easy way to cut a pepper. It's easy altogether, but cut the end off here and the bottom end off there. And you can see where the seeds are kind of still intact. Cut a line straight down so that it opens up here a little bit. And then you just take your knife and you go along the inside here. And out pops the entire thing of seeds. For this recipe, we only need half a pepper. If you want to utilize everything, you can cut along the stem, but we only need half. So I'm going to take this and we're going to dice it up, kind of a small dice, because it's going into burgers, little sliders. All right, so pieces are kind of small, not too small. I'm just going to toss it in there and we'll get it mixed up here in a little bit. And then for this recipe, it calls for 1 small onion. I have it already peeled, but one thing I wanted to show you guys is how to dice an onion in an easy way. So you leave the root part on, and this onion is pretty small, so I'm just going to go down and we're going to leave this top part intact, and we're just going to take lines down. And by the end of this, I can still pick it up, and it's still pretty well together. Can't really tell where I cut it. And then this is the easy part. Just like that, you created even sized dice of onion. It's a lot of fun. And I'll do the same with this one. If your onion is a bigger onion, you can cut down the middle. The key to this, though, is not to go all the way to the back. You want this back part where the root is to stay intact. And there's the fun part. All even and quick. All right, so now we have our pound of hamburger, our onion, our half a red pepper, and then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of chopped cilantro. 2 cloves of garlic. If you're using pre-cut garlic, it's probably about a tablespoon or so. And then I have a teaspoon of dried oregano. I have a teaspoon of soy sauce. And I have a half tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. All right, here comes the fun part. We're going to mix it all together and make these burgers. It's going to be very colorful and very tasty. Now, some people are not a fan of cilantro. Our population is kind of divided here. Some people think cilantro tastes fabulous, and some people think it tastes like soap. So if you don't like it, you don't have to put it in there. But it does give some good flavor. And it's not that noticeable after it's cooked. All right, so I have it pretty well mixed together. And then I'm going to go ahead and divide it, and we'll try to get maybe 6 little sliders out of this. So when you're making a burger, you get your little ball. And the way I do it is I cup my hand, and I just kind of push it around. And that will hold it together. If you see some parts are kind of falling apart there, then you can push it down like this. And that makes a pretty good little slider. So I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more of these. And it's always good to wear gloves. If not, make sure you wash your hands afterwards. I like to use the little cheap Dollar General gloves. That way the hamburger doesn't get up under your fingernails and stuff. So that one was a little bigger. I took some off. You want to get them pretty even in size. If you're looking for perfection, you could always use a scoop. These are always fun to do. I like to give them a little character. All right, so that one's kind of falling apart in the middle, so I'm just going to kind of fold it in. And that way it's pushed together more, and maybe that bigger piece of onion that wasn't quite perfect is more in the middle now and not towards the outside. All right, so it looks like I'm going to get about 6 perfect little sliders here. And one thing I like to do when I'm cooking burgers, so these are already going to be small because they're sliders. One thing a lot of people don't do is stick your thumb in the middle of the burger when you're putting it in the pan. If you do that, it'll actually stop the burger from shrinking. And you can do that when you're cooking burgers in a pan or on the grill. If you've never done that, try it. You'll be able to tell a difference. It's pretty awesome. All right. So I have my burgers made up here. I'm going to get my pan on and get it heated. I already had it on low. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. And what we're going to go ahead and do first is we're going to toast our buns. So I will get just a little bit. You don't want a whole lot, but I will get a little bit of oil in here. Just enough to give them a little bit of color. And then we're going to get our buns in there and get them nice and toasted. Actually, everything that's going on this burger except for the sauce is going to be going in this pan today. Alrighty, and then while those are toasting, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys, we have some purple cabbage here. Little interesting fact about cabbage. So Purple cabbage has 11 times more vitamin A in it than green cabbage. Both of them are high in vitamin A and K, and that helps promote your immune function. It helps with your vision, and it plays a significant role in the maintenance of your kidney and lungs. I am looking at my little cheat sheet over here if you didn't notice. So with this cabbage, we're going to try to get a small cut. You call this a julienne. You want it really thin. So we're looking for pieces kind of like this. You want them pretty thin. We're going to top our burger with that. So I also have a little bit of shredded carrot, and I'm going to go ahead and mix those together and set that off to the side, and we'll check our buns. Ooh, look at that perfection. That's that oil. All right. And then I'm going to leave these tops off to the side. That way I can build my burger as I go. Yummy. All right, here. I am going to put just a little bit more oil in the pan. And then we are going to toss. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. And then we are going to get our burgers in here. Hear that sizzle? All right, so I have all 6 burgers in here, and I'm going to make that little indent in the middle. And that should stop the burger from shrinking. And then you're aiming, it always depends on how hot your pan is, but you're aiming for a couple minutes on each side. Now, burgers can be done a little more medium, but it's completely up to you guys. So while we got that going, I'm going to go ahead and cut up our tomato and our onion. So we're going to do a simple slice. Our onion right here. You want it kind of thin, but not too thin. We're looking for a medium slice right here. That little one that was running away wanted to show you how perfect it was. All right, and then we're looking for roughly the same size with the tomatoes. I have 6 pretty good slices there. All right, we'll take a look at these. So one way to tell when a burger is ready to flip, I don't know if you can tell with the camera there, but your brown is about halfway up. So that's a perfect point to go ahead and flip it over. It means your burger is cooked about halfway through. All right, they're getting some nice color to them. And whenever you're making burgers, you don't want to smash them down too much, because that's going to cause them to kind of fall apart. All right, while that's going, I'm going to bring this over here and tell you guys a little bit more of the nutritional value of this meal. So onions are filled with vitamins and minerals. They help eliminate toxins, and they are full of potassium, vitamin B, and they promote brain health. Our tomatoes are high in vitamin C. You're looking for a lean cut of beef. 90-10 is typical. It's typically what you'd want to get. And that would be high in B12, and it aids in helping our red blood cell production. So that's a neat little piece of info. Many across the islands credit this chimichurri burger to a chef, Juan Abrales, who moved to the Dominican Republic in 1970 and brought this burger with him. You'll find these at quite a few of the food trucks or little stations where people go and they get a quick lunch. The recipes do tend to vary just a little bit, but they say never put cheese on these. That's a big no-no for the chimichurri burger. So these are getting pretty close here. I have quite a bit of space in this pan here, so while those are going, I'm going to go ahead and get my carrots and my cabbage on the other side here. And these are going to be our topping on the burger. You ever had a burger with cabbage and carrot? We're going to try it today. So you're looking for the cabbage and the carrot. You just kind of want to soften them. You don't want to overcook them and make them mushy. Kind of spread it around, make sure that it's got plenty of room to cook. And these burgers are looking kind of close to being done. I'd say maybe another minute on this side. That'd be perfect. Just give this a little stir around. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get these burgers on the bun, and then we will continue to build our burger. All right. I'm going to go ahead and spread these around a little bit. Only you could smell this. So I'm switching over to my tongs. That'll be a little easier to get these on the burgers. But right now, see, it's not, you hold your cabbage up and it's not real hard, but then again, it's not super soft either. You're looking at something kind of like this. And then we're going to go ahead and get this on our burgers. There's a lot of beautiful color here. Our purple cabbage, our red peppers, orange carrots. That's how you eat with your eyes first. All right, and next we are going to add our onion to the pan. We're just looking for a little bit of caramelization on these onions. And these will go quick. So that first one I put on is already changing color a little bit. All right, I'm going to slide those over to this side of the pan. And I'm going to throw our tomatoes on there. Hear that sizzle? That's what we want to hear, is that sizzle. Means our pan is nice and hot. So we'll give these a couple of minutes. I do have our delicious sauce ready to be mixed. It's 2 tablespoons of ketchup, 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, and a tablespoon of mustard. So I'm going to go ahead and mix those together. Then as soon as we top our burgers with the onion and tomato, we'll put a little bit of this sauce on there, and it'll be ready to eat. All right, our onions are looking good. I'm going to go ahead and get those on over here. All right, I'm going to flip these tomatoes. If you notice your pan is drying up, be sure to add just a little bit more oil. That's what's going to give them this nice color. All right, so we'll give those another minute. And then what I like to do when I'm cooking is I set my oven to 170, 175, whatever your lowest setting is, and that is what we call a warmer. So we have our chimichurri sliders here that are done, but we're also going to make fried plantains. So what do we do to keep these warm? Put them in our warmer. All right. All right, now we have our delicious sauce. I'm going to put just a little bit on the top of each one. All right. And here you have 6 yummy sliders. And here we'll get started with some fried plantains. All right, now that we have our chimichurri burger made, we're going to do our side, which will be a fried plantain. So plantains they look like banana, but they taste nothing like a banana. Usually they're cooked. So I cut the end off. I'm going to cut the other end off here. And these are a lot harder to peel than a banana. So you want to take your knife and you want to go down the side of the peel. And then you'll try to lift it up. And sometimes it comes off easy and sometimes it doesn't. If it's pretty hard, you can take your knife and just go around a little bit, or you can take your finger and just slide it through, kind of like that. And it should come off pretty easy at that point. I highly recommend doing a little cut first. All right, so now I have all those peeled. I'm going to cut them into about 1 inch thickness. And after I get these cut, we're going to fry them once. And then we're going to remove them. We're going to put them in a little bit of water, salt, and garlic clove. And then we'll smash them and fry them again to get them pretty crispy. All right, so I have my oil already preheated. If you don't have a deep fryer that automatically does the temperature for you, you're aiming at about 325, 350. And you want to make sure that your plantain slices are pretty even. And when I put these in here, I do not want to just throw them in there. I want to gently lay them in there. And we'll get a few of them going. And one thing to keep in mind is when you're frying something, whenever you put something into the oil, it drops the temperature of the oil. So that's always something to keep an eye on. And you never want to overcrowd your pan. I don't think these will stick together, but at the same time, you want to give them enough space to where the oil can completely surround them. So these that are kind of close together, I'm going to separate those a little bit so that the oil can go all around them. So I have my oil here is completely covering the plantains, but if you're doing some in a smaller pan and you only want to use a little bit of oil and you go up halfway, you just want to make sure that you flip that plantain halfway through. You want probably about 1 minute to 2 minutes per side. So we'll let these go for just a little bit, and then I have my garlic over here. I thought I could show you guys a neat little trick. So I have my 2 garlic cloves already peeled, and then I saved this one for you guys. So if you're peeling a garlic, sometimes that skin on the garlic is sticky and it takes forever to get off. And if you're OCD like me, you want to get every single little piece and it's a pain. So instead, we'll go ahead and cut that little end piece off. And then you want to take a bowl, or you could use your knife and you could smash it a little bit. And then that removes the skin pretty easy. It just all peeled right off, just like that. No little slices left on there. So we're going to go ahead and smash them really good. I have 2 cups of water here. I'm going to put into our bowl. And we're going to go ahead and add the smashed garlic cloves right into that bowl. Went ahead and smash the other 2. That releases all that flavor. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of salt right here. And then these are looking pretty good. I think they've been in there for a couple minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and remove them onto this cooling rack. And then comes the fun part. We'll smash them. You can see they're getting a little bit of color to them. All right, so I got some of the oil is dropping off right here, and I'm going to use the same bowl right here to smash them. You want to get them pretty flat, but you don't want them to fall apart. So we'll get that started, and you're aiming for something kind of like that. I don't know if you can see it. Pretty flat, kind of like a chip. So now that it's smashed, I want to put it in our little water, salt, and garlic bath here. And I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these. They're going to be almost like potato chips, but better, healthier. And then our goal is to leave them in this little water bath here for at least a minute or 2. And then we're going to add them back to the oil and get them nice and crispy. It's pretty cute. All right, so now that those are in the water, I have a little bit of information about plantains. So they are a good source of vitamin A and C, and they are also a good source of vitamin B6, potassium, and magnesium. 4 grams of fiber per plantain, and it's a starchy fruit that's great for your digestive system. It helps with regularity. And it's side for quite a few dishes in the islands. They eat this with a lot of meals, so it's pretty popular. Definitely something you'd want to try. So now that these are been in here for a minute or so, I'm going to go ahead and add them back to the oil. Try to get as much of the water off as you can. We'll do just a few at a time. And then when you put them back in here second time around, you want to give them another minute or two. It's enough to get crispy. So right now we see lots of bubbles coming off of these little plantain chips, which is what you see when you first put something in oil. You can tell when something's getting closer to being done by those bubbles kind of disappearing. So all food has moisture, and when you put it into oil, it releases that moisture. And then when the bubbles start to disappear, that usually means that it's cooked, and then it's starting to suck in that oil, which you don't really want. So there's a couple there that are kind of close together. I'm going to separate them just a little bit. So those first two that I put in, looking close, they're starting to kind of float to the top. Not as much bubbles compared to the back ones that I put in last. So go ahead and get these out. Here. And unless you're on a diet that restricts salt, you always want to add a little bit of salt whenever you pull something out of a fryer. See that one kind of stuck on top of the other one there? I'm going to separate those and give them another minute so they can get evenly cooked. All right. I'm going to add that little bit of salt. And we have our fried plantains. So here we have our little chimichurri slider burger. And we're going to have a perfect side. Fried plantains. One great little island meal. I hope you enjoyed.